Kunle Amzat Studio, Agidigbo 88.7 FM. Welcome to the Dailies.
It's a new week again, and we are back in the Kunle Amzat studio. Of course, Agidigbo 88.7 FM, Ibadan. My name is Wuraola Yusuff, and you're welcome to your ultimate newspaper review show. This is where we get to talk about what is going on in the country. How do they affect us, or how they even concern us as citizens living in or outside the country, Nigeria? Yes, I'll be starting from the newspapers, the front pages of our daily newspapers this morning, reading them out, after which our analyst, MAESTRO, would help us with the analysis of the stories, what they really mean, and the real sense of it. Starting from the Punch newspaper today, on page 2, marketers plan petrol import as NNPCL, Dangote's talks drag. Two writers to the story. The first one says petrol dealers to meet Dangote over pricing. Uncertainty over NNPC September 15 PMS lifting. The second writer says Ipman laments as NNPC delays supply at depot. Pump price nears 1,250 in state. On the issue of ASU strike, ASU government panel to meet Wednesday. Page 8 has details to that story. On page 6, group sues Lagos over $100 million Dangote land deal. Page 8 says on the issue of 4 billion naira illegal arms, 10 charged with terrorism. 48 passengers, 50 cows killed in Niger tanker fire. Pages 4 and 5 has details to that story. A report on page 40 of the Punch newspaper says over 1,000 soldiers resigned from army in 4 years. Page 5 says Europe bound cocaine consignment intercepted in sanitary pads. Page 42 of the Punch newspaper this morning says that Atiku's aid, Labour Party, NNPP differ on merger plan. Moving on to the Nation newspaper today, the story written on the front page and continued on page 2 says investors take federal government $500 million bond to oversubscription. To write us that story, the first one says experts project a 100% intake. Another one says the final allotment to beneficiaries this week. What APC will discuss at the NEC meeting, and that one is coming from the party on the page 2 of the Nation newspaper. PDP knocks Kwakwanso for referring to the party as dead. Page 3 has details to that story. Resident doctors to lose 7 days pay to strike. Page 4. No work, no pay rule stays. Wike Chinese firms sign MOUs to boost power, water in FCT. Page 6 has details to that story. Moving on to the Guardian newspaper right now. Reverse petrol pump price. Serap APC chief tell Tinubu. Page 5 has details to that story. POS operators insist on court ruling amid CAC threats. NAFDAC warns against miracle product of faith-based organizations. Page 29 has details to that one story. NLC vows to tackle graft, fiscal indiscipline by politicians. Page 3 has details to that one story. Alright, this story is alongside others and many more what we have to discuss this morning with Maestro in the studio. Good morning, Maestro. You're welcome.
Good morning, my pleasure.
How was the weekend?
Well, we thank God for His mercies.
Alright then. Well then let me just ask, let me start by saying, how much did you buy the fuel? The last refuel you did in your tank, how much?
1,020 naira.
1,020 naira.
Yes.
I mean, that is, I can see on the front page here, I think Punch are saying 1,250 in some places.
Well, it's always, when it's like this, you expect people who have money to buy where they would go through the, no stress situation.
Okay, go in, come out.
Yes, even if they call it 2,000 naira, some people have that kind of money. And when they see it where there's no stress, no queue, they probably will buy it. But people like us will still look around for where it's cheapest, relatively. And so, of course, you want to also balance with your time. It depends on... So we are in different kinds of situations. The person who is driving a Micra or, or NAPEP would queue. Because you know that if you go and buy for any kind of outrageous amount, it's going to tell on your take home at the end of the day. So it's different kind of. That's what we don't report in our stories. We simply go by it's now 1,200, and it's dishonest. You have to be able to put it there, even if you go for a sensational headline. Which is fine. It comes with the territory sometimes. The truth must reflect in your story, maybe the first, second paragraph. You have to put it there. When you don't put it there, you're walking to your own answer.
All right, then. Let us talk about the main issue causing all this, or let's say bigger things concerning the petrol. And now we have this news saying that marketers plan petrol import just because NNPCL and Dangote's talk seems to be dragging.
Well, it is it's their business. They have to look after their own business. No matter how much we accuse marketers, and we accuse them, fairly, because of what we have experienced, dealing with them or them dealing with us over the years. But they still must take care of their own business. And if Dangote refinery is not forthcoming, they have to go and stock up. That's what they sell, and they have to sell. So that is very clear. But I will have you know that this is a game. It's a very big game, which involves the presidency. It's a game which involves Dangote refinery itself.
Yes.
And it's a game which involves the marketers. Unfortunately, we, the people, we are in one unhealthy distance where we should be part of the game. We should be part of the game, not part of emotional outbursts and flailing and playing partisan politics and so on. We should be part of this game because it's a game. And the most disheartening part for me, now let me tell you quickly, is the statement by the president that you cannot be having everything free and expect development like you see in China. And that we had to make a choice between paying and development. I found it very disheartening. And I think it's a huge letdown to people who see the strides that he's making towards the right direction. when you talk like that, you project that the people of this country who have been paying because of the incompetence and corruption in successive administrations at the center and all over the states, that people, Nigerians who have gone through this kind of stuff, that we have been carrying several governments on our backs, that we've been, successive administrations have been hiking fuel prices, and Nigerians have been paying. So where is freebie in all that? And so I think the choice of words on the day, was quite wrong. If he has the opportunity, I think he should, apologize to Nigerians for that, for saying you can't have everything free. Because we've not been enjoying the freebies. There's nothing called free. Even he said so much when he talked about subsidy, that even the subsidy that we were supposed to be having for us was going into the pockets of a few people. He said so himself. So where is the freebie coming from? And I think that's a very, very wrong choice of words. That's one. The other part of his speech was, the poser he threw to Nigerians, that it's either you want development or you want a lower pump price. We choose lower pump price. Well, I choose lower pump price because what my father say is, you die today, you experience wealth tomorrow. How is that possible? Ikule ni oro lola. It is not possible. So let us survive first. You said let the poor breathe. And so this is the way I look at it. Because he has done so well by removing that subsidy. I think that makes a lot of sense. There is no other way. Now that you remove subsidy, we now see what's coming in. We see what's coming in now, clearly. So you could now direct the management of what's coming in, the chunk that you are getting now. You can direct that management. You can inject it privately, directly to different items. So you've cut out all this landing cost and all the lies and all the padding. Now this is local refinery. And in the first instance, a provision was made for local refinery, in this NPC thing. 450,000 barrels of crude oil is supposed to be going to local refineries. But we never had local refineries for such a long time, for decades actually. And so we don't even know what they have been doing with that 450,000 barrels. You don't know where it is. So, well, they must have. We don't have information about it. Now, another thing I will give to this administration is that all of a sudden we are seeing a lot of information about the NNPC, which we never had the opportunity to do so because administrations generally shrouded it up. But this one has been, like indifferent. If you want information, you can get it today. So why don't we now say, okay, this 855 game that they are playing, we can subsidize like about 300 or 400 naira and direct it so that, because I understand that Dangote has to make its money back. If you do so much investment, you have to make that money back, or that structure will collapse. And Dangote refinery also has to be competitive. I understand all that. But the only spot, well, maybe a couple of spots where dollar considerations will come in, is the price of crude oil, one. Two, the people who are refining, who are running the system and so on, many of them are maybe Indians and so on. They are not going to be taking, Naira. They are paying local. So we don't know how much that amounts to. So what I expected the president to be, in his intervention, is how much till this point that we are talking. We do not know how much Dangote is refining 1 liter. We have to know how much that cost is. All they did was, as soon as Dangote said we will pump tomorrow, then the prices went up. And initially they were saying, no, we don't know anything about this. But we now know that you know everything about it. Especially when the president is saying Well, it's either you pay more
Development or
or you
development.
get development. We don't want that kind of development.
That's just them claiming
that
the
snuffs
hike.
life out of people first before development will come. No. In any case, we're too far away from the kind of Chinese development that he's talking about. I understand that Mr. President was probably taken away, because development in China has been breathtaking. But it's coming all the way from Mao Zedong. If you're coming all the way from Mao Zedong, you know how many years, and that is a dictatorship that you're looking at. It's just an intelligent dictatorship. But it's a dictatorship all the time that is very, very brutal.
Far from democracy.
And that development is talking about costs so way too many lives. The most recent must be Tiananmen Square years ago, where a lot of students lost their lives protesting on the streets of China. So we don't even want that kind of development anyway. We want the kind of development that people, will live in relative comfort. We're not saying that, government should provide bliss for everybody. We're saying if this is crude oil coming from this country, there must be something that Nigerians will be able to say, okay, we're enjoying this because it's ours.
At least.
So that's the way I'm looking at this thing. They're all playing games. Everybody is in on the game except the people of Nigeria. And why are we not in on the game? We are not in on the game because, a sizable portion of this population, we don't form a critical mass now.
Maybe because we are the one being played.
One will be on the side of partisans. This one is PDP, closet PDP, closet Labour Party, we don't form critical mass, and nobody wants to even learn anything. Some people believe that this is all about the president. It's not all about the president. What displeases me here is what the president said in China. That is the displeasure here. And I also see that he is already moving in the direction of this hike. That's saying, let this hike stay. Because, when you analyze the statement he made, you will know that that's probably where he's heading. He should be heading back home from there. That's not what is right at this point.
Directly or indirectly, they're telling us that the hike in palm price is here to stay. And there are some indications from people's discussions that this may not even be where they'll stop.
Well, I don't want to speculate. I want to talk about what is real.
All right.
What is real now is you are putting it at 855 from under 600, from slightly over 600. You're putting it at 855. Nigeria, poor Nigerians cannot afford that. There's nothing in our pockets anymore. So I don't know if the president has some, if his definition of poor people is different from our definition of poor people. Around me, everywhere I see poor people, there's nothing to pay anymore. There's nothing. Now the idea of taxing it until it becomes immobile, I also understand that concept. If it moves, tax it. If it moves some more, tax it. But if it stays, there's no breath in it again anymore. You can't keep on taxing it. Otherwise, you won't get anything. So I think he has to rethink at this point. And this one is serious. This is not coming from a partisan politician. It's coming from ordinary people on the streets. There's nothing to pay anymore.
Looking across the streets on the road, you said that we are having a few vehicles moving. It's just there. There's no way you want to notice.
I heard that, but I don't even believe that a bit.
I saw that yesterday.
You can't see that. It's not possible for you to see that, because if you want to see that, you have to take statistics. That's how journalists work. We don't work by hearsay. What we do is, if we want to make a strong statement like that, we will stay there and begin to take notes for at least a reasonable period of time. Then you must know when it peaks. You must know when it goes to middle. You must know when it's lowest ebb. That's what we do. And when we have all that, we cannot, suddenly have that because we want to walk to the result of, I also saw it. I saw those write-ups and, I just ignore those things because, you see, it's
for a route that you take normally and you know how this place moves.
Yeah, but you were not consciously doing it before. You must have been. You see, this is the thing about data.
Okay.
You have to have been taking data before. You know, you cannot depend on your mind.
But for a place where I know that if I stay here,
yes,
I'm taking a cab. In 3 minutes, I'll see a cab.
It's your mind strip. That's not scientific. On a day, you can't even trust your mind on a day. Say, okay, that's your observation. But how are you feeling on the day? You don't know. So what happens is, if you want to do it, you can start it from now and say, okay, you open your ledger and begin to enter. So if you can talk authoritatively in about maybe some months down the line, and then you develop this thing and you have your stamp on it. But if you want to do it right now, it's wuru-wuru to the answer. It's just what we call wuru-wuru to the answer.
All right, then.
It feels like it.
Just last week, we were happy, we were excited about the fact that Dangote refinery is here and we're supposed to be getting some things from it. Let's go pay some bills. We'll be back. We're still on this discussion.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
My baby is 6 months old. Oh my! 6 months old? Wow! Now your baby needs more than breast milk. It's time to introduce mashed meals. In addition to breast milk, begin to give your baby mashed meals that contain at least one item from each of these 5 food groups: eggs, fish or meat, fruits and vegetables, oils, beans, groundnuts, soya or millet, rice, potato, maize or yam from 6 months. In addition to breast milk, your baby needs this combination of food types to grow healthy. This message is from the ANRIN Project or your state's Ministry of Health.
I'm in love, Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Easy to open, easy to squeeze, easy to scoop and easy to stir.
Sonia tomato mix in a new standard pouch.
18 months. 18 months. 18 months.
Mr. Man, what did they happen for 18 months?
Nah, Hero Hunter, they are giving 18 months warranty on their motorcycles, so a whole 18 months.
18 months warranty on their Okada? You sure say you know what you dey talk?
Warranty na agreement when they follow product come. So sure say it stand well. Most machine na 12 months warranty them they get. But the Hero Hunter warranty, senior all of them with correct 18 months warranty. Complete 1 year and 6 months. You no go spend copper from your pocket to repair your Okada engine. Na Hero Hunter go carry am with full chest. We move. Na Hero Hunter motorcycle we go buy today. Hero Hunter, save fuel, save money.
My son, help me check this phone. I no know wetin Junior press. E no dey work again.
Make I see. Mommy,
Wetin happen?
they don't block your line now.
Nobody like to chop blocking, no. So, if they don't block you unto say you not link your NIN to your Airtel line, run kitty go any Airtel shop with your NIN to unblock your line today.
Airtel, a reason to imagine.
tá a bá mọ̀nà tó yẹ ká gbà ìrìn àjò àṣeyọrí a máa yá kánkán láti wá tẹ̀síwájú kàwé lókè òkun. Paramount Global Resources Limited lọ́nà tààrà tó yá síbẹ̀. ọ̀pọ̀ yunifásitì ní Europe là ń ṣojú lórílẹ̀‐èdè Nàìjíríà láti ṣètò ìgbaniwọlé sí ìpele ẹ̀kọ́ diploma, bachelor's degree, master's degree tó fi mọ́ PhD to therefore enjoy a smooth sail admission process into universities in France, Spain, Malta, Poland, Portugal, Croatia, Germany and UK. Your easy path is Paramount Global Resources Limited. Apply through us today. Kódà àǹfààní 40% discount ti wà lórí tuition fee fáwọn MBA programs lórílẹ̀‐èdè Malta fún sáà ètò ẹ̀kọ́ January-February 2025 intake. ẹ tètè gbéra pa báyìí kó tó wá sópin níparí oṣù September 2024. For more inquiries, visit Paramount Global Resources Limited at Block H, number 8, Arishekola Shopping Complex, Bodija, Ibadan. Telephone 0707-636-2769. Paramount Global Resources Limited, your sure pathway to studying abroad.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
Once the NNPC is ready, we roll. Once the NNPC is ready, we roll. That was what Alhaji Dangote said last week But right now, it seems the talks between these two companies have collapsed, and this means, according to different reports, they said this means fuel importation might continue. Because in the past few days, the NNPC...
You said the talks between them collapsed?
The report, that's what is written in the newspaper this morning. They said it seems because we are having different conversation, different angles from these people. They are saying different, it seems they are saying different things now.
You know, the truth is, as I always, try to impress on you, you have to be careful about these people.
I'm trying to read this out. I'm trying to read this out for us to then discuss.
The point is, there's nothing collapsing anywhere. There's no... Where is the possibility of collapsing anywhere? Dangote is refining. They have sent crude. That's the duty of NNPC, to send crude. Dangote has confirmed that they sent the crude. And now Dangote is refining to pump. Where is the probability of anything collapsing between the two?
Okay, I think this is in the issue of the pricing. Saying NNPC denying the fact that they would fix for Dangote or even be its sole distributor.
You see, I'm just curious about a report that implies the probability of anything collapsing while there is none. You see, what we are having
from what we are seeing
is a problem of price. What is collapsing there? There's nothing collapsing anywhere.
We were all certain about this.
They are not building anything collapsing. They are not in the process of anything collapsing. You see, so we don't over-depend on these people. They are, incompetent reporters most of the time. And so what we need to do is to also open our minds to what's going on. What we are seeing is a game to establish that 855, because the Dangote refinery collapse. Dangote refinery will be somewhere where it will get its own gain.
Of course.
So NNPC, we've seen the projection of the NNPC and the price regulatory people over time. What they are also doing is, okay, let's play back to imports. That is what they are doing. Let's play back to importation. Isn't it obvious? I mean, I just told you that everybody is in on the game except the rest of us. And the people who make it so difficult for the rest of us to be in on the game are reporters like this. There are reporters like this, and there are people who push their partisan positions ahead of that of the... When somebody says, we don't want rice. You're not talking for yourself. You're not talking for millions of people who will grab that rice before it falls. Before they even bring it, they would have turned the bag to shreds because they did not eat last night. So articulation is essential here. In fact, it's not just essential, it's compulsory. So the flow here is, this is a game against the rest of us. And that game is supposed to uphold and establish a price regime, which they all want. The Dangote refineries want it. The marketers are happy about it. And the government is cool about it. The only set of people who are not happy about this are the rest of us. So we distract when we begin to talk because it creates an impression that we should divert our attentions to a supposedly breaking down or collapsing thing.
Or things falling apart.
Or things falling apart. Nothing is falling apart, Wura. You see?
They know what they're doing.
Precisely. And that is what we need to be, clear-eyed about. That, okay, we understand everything, but what we want is that this pump price does not stay. This pump price has to come down. And thank God Mr. President gave us an option, right? He says, is either you want this kind of Chinese, development, or lower, pump price.
How about before we get there?
We want lower pump price. Mr. President, we want lower pump price. In any case, let me assure you that is even of great economic advantage if we had lower pump price, how much would it cost us at this point to directly ensure that Dangote refinery stays competitive and yet have lower pump price?
A second measure.
It's 7 a.m. on Agidigbo 88.7 FM.
All right.
How much would it cost us? I'm sure it will be a far cry from what we were paying in subsidy before. So you still have a sizable portion of your subsidy with you while you pay and make sure that, the refineries stay competitive. While, Mr. President, you work at Port Harcourt Refinery and Warri Refinery, because that is also there. And you have been pushing dates. So work at those ones so that this pump price will reduce. It is not enough to be saying it is compulsory that this pump price must go up so that we can have development. It's not valid. As a matter of fact, if this pump price goes down now, a lot of people who have been fired will return to work. They will find one kind of job or the other. The economy of Nigeria will be a little bit more mobile than this, because it is true, that it is in stagnation. And so this kind of thing is not even coming from economy illiterates like me. It is still making a lot of sense. And I'll be expecting even the experts to come and tell me that if we spent 10 naira on ensuring that the pump price reduces, that it is not going to help the economy. It's going to help the economy because many businesses are folded up already. They cannot afford to buy fuel to push their businesses forward. A lot of people can look at, you buy one scrawny corn, just one, and you look at it. It's not even attractive, but it's very expensive. Why? Because people who go to the farms, to the villages, to go and bring the thing, transport costs have gone up madly. So I hope that they will seriously be looking at this, while we too should play our role. If we keep, encouraging them, like somebody was saying, he was talking more about this new pump price and so on and so forth. That's not what we want to talk about. We're talking about lower pump price.
That we need to get.
Yes, nothing is established yet. And we need lower pump price in this country. That's what we need now.
But I must ask, from what we've been saying since last week, but then before Dangote refinery came up, we were all clamoring for the fact, let it come. We know this will make a huge difference. But now what we're saying, is it expected?
Even Alhaji Aliko Dangote, no, this is expected. Unless you don't.
This is expected.
Unless you don't know this country. If you don't know this country, stay out of the conversation. Let people who understand. When have they ever benefited us? We're talking about marketers who do all this thing all the time. You're talking about, a government, the government of Nigeria. Look, let me tell you, the last time I was saying the presidency behaves the same way. Constantly. With slight differences, maybe mannerisms, some nuances and so on, coming in with successive presidents. Okay, when President Muhammadu Buhari was there, what did he say? He called Nigerian youth lazy. Do you remember that?
Of course.
Okay, President Tinubu has come now. He says, we love taking things free. They are both wrong, but they are speaking, from the base of that presidency, what it does to them. You understand? So this is expected.
Before, let the poor breathe, and now you like freebies.
Yeah, let the poor breathe is even neither here nor there, really. Because I tend to go with more of what people do than what they say. But what they say sometimes, if you are beating the victim, it's doubly painful. So what I am saying now is that if you didn't expect this, you don't understand the Nigerian conversation.
Wow.
You don't have a grasp of the Nigerian project, and you don't know why we are, been like this for a very long time.
But this isn't right. But still, that is what we're going to get.
Tell me what's right. Since you've gained consciousness about Nigeria, how many things have gone right?
Wow.
Except occasional victories from football. Tell me, how many things have gone right?
Are you talking about the match of the weekend?
Well, that's what we get. And it's Pyrrhic anyway. It's not consistent. And you see, everybody knows that even if we qualify for that World Cup, this is how we deceive ourselves. We will go into certain euphoria that we have qualified, but we are going to be disgraced at the World Cup.
Ouch.
Is it not true? Is it not true?
We've seen it.
So you have to expect certain things because you're grappling, you're struggling, with a kind of matrix. That's what we're up against. And so sometimes, sometimes when I'm so uncomfortable with certain inputs, it's because you know immediately that, this person appears not to even understand, what we are grappling with. We are grappling with people who are self-centered, extremely selfish, and they really don't care about the people. And they care more about their own aspirations, about where they're going, about what they get. That's the point. But then, what is the truth? It is the constant truth about politicians in almost every society. Now, the people in those societies that we call advanced economies, they are now the ones who understand what they are dealing with, and they make the right kind of calls, and they make the right kind of bonds. That's how it works. So if you are not going to make the right kind of calls, if you talk too dumb, they already know that, you could be taken for a ride. But where people show a lot of understanding, and then we make the right kind of calls, when we talk about restructuring all the time, what do you suppose it is about? It's about, we know that all these things that happen in components, in series, they are always here with us in different shapes and forms, just changing with the times, but it's the same thing. What is the difference, for instance, between, the late Dr. Olushola Sharaki and the current Dr. Bukola Sharaki? And the positions they occupy and everything and so on. I'm of blessed memory. So without, people replace themselves. And they are not just the only political dynasty doing that. You have other political dynasties too. So some are stark, they are in our faces. Some are very subtle. You don't even hear so much about them. So we need to understand and expect a lot of things. That's what I'm trying to put across there.
Maestro, do you think the president, the presidency, and the government at large, do you think they are seeing what is going on in the country? Do you think they are feeling what people are going through, or they are even seeing it at all?
I know that, if we want to be caustic, like I could be caustic, I could be really sarcastic sometimes and say, don't you see, maybe you are not being told. The truth is that they see and they know. There's too much poverty in this country for you to hide behind any kind of wealth, any kind of comfort anywhere. Look at the posh estates in any town. It's surrounded by poverty. It's right there in the middle of poverty. It doesn't matter if you go and pick a place at the tip of Ebute Metta, or you go and create something right there in the lagoon, or you go to Yagonku here and do whatever it is you want to do.
Outside the gates of all that.
Surrounded, absolutely surrounded by poverty. And then you will drive out of your comfort and you will see that poverty staring you in the face as you drive on. Even if you tint your glass and so on, if you drive in that kind of... so they see it. But you see, the point is they see it from a different perspective. That is why we are encouraging restructuring. You see, I don't know you, you don't know me. There is no feeling anywhere. And the people who are supposed to represent us, who are supposed to talk like we are talking at those different places, they have melted into caucuses for their own benefit.
Who are those?
You have House of Representatives, you have your senators, you have your State House of Assembly people, and so on. So, but because the stretch is too long, unlike when we had the regions where everything finished here. So that's what we need to do. We cannot keep on, having all these people. This one will finish dealing with us, another one will come. This one will finish dealing with us, another one will come. The ones that dealt with us in the past, where are they? Where are they now? They are resting in comfort in their different domains. As this one would at the end of his term. Maybe it's 4 years, maybe it's 8 years. And somebody was telling me yesterday that I didn't believe that we would be praising Buhari.
Wow.
I said, you people are just hypocrites. You have been praising every successive one. You even praised Abacha. I mean, if you praised Abacha, why won't you be able to praise Buhari? It's just neither here nor there. When this one leaves, people will say, even this one was better.
Is it that we are quick to forget, it is actually
it is
better?
Because it is systemic. It is not personal. And this is what we have been trying to make our people understand forever. It is not pro-anti-Tinubu thing. It's not pro-anti-Buhari. It is because the problem is about system. So the system is getting worse and worse.
Not the person, not the president in office.
People come and go, but if there is no system that is going to hold everything in place, if there's this, I was listening to somebody who was saying restructuring is not the thing, it's about the people and so on and so on. And I was looking at the person. You're saying is you suddenly got wealthy in a jiffy. Where on earth, unless the structure is so dysfunctional, could you, in the twinkle of an eye, buy 6, 7, 8 houses, be flowing in? Because you went into politics and you secured a position.
Where the money is.
And now you can now say it's not about the structure, it's about the people. And you, the people, you're coming back from where they ride the 160 million SUVs. And you're still saying, some people should simply shut up. People who are not even qualified to participate in this conversation, they are the ones you'll find in the forefront talking recklessly about restructuring. Something that we are sure. And you know what? At the end of the day, you ask them, okay, if not restructuring, what? And they begin to talk about, the people have to change. And
change of mindset.
See, what is more ridiculous than that? Because people are not even changing in front of their God. That God that created them have been asking them to change.
To repent.
And he's been sending messengers to them. He's been sending prophets to them. And today we have real and fake ones, plenty, telling everybody, at least, even the fake ones are saying you should change. Have we changed? So it is not the job of the politician to be doing preachments, to be asking people to change their mindset, to do this and that. It's so ridiculous.
All right, Maestro. Let's talk about the value-added tax issue from 7.5% to 10%. And quite a lot of people are talking about this, saying this may have devastating consequences. Do we even have that to pay?
Number one, we don't have that to pay, but where is that tax? VAT, I remember. Do you remember that they have a case in court?
Yes.
And that, Lagos State government, Rivers State government, when Wike was
governor,
they all went to court. Now, they are in government now. And they are saying, okay, where does the VAT go? And so I expect this is politics.
Okay.
I expect the governors now, especially opposition governors, to ensure that they face the court now, to go and fight it out in court, that this VAT should be coming to the states. That was the case. So that's the most important thing for me. But you see, when you don't have people who are ready to fight, champion the cause of their people. When the president did local government autonomy, when they went to court and won, we applauded the president. We said this was great because it benefited us. So the enemy of my enemy is my enemy. And I'm saying the governors now, they should secure our applause too. Go and fight this thing in court. Finish the race. That the VAT should be coming to the states. Right?
And let's say what it would do.
What is more, sensible than the governors rising up to this kind of challenge? You did me one, I'll do you another one. Let's see. But are you hearing anything at all?
No.
So that's the problem. And let me tell you, governments always want to raise tax. That's why tax, is a political issue.
Even when the people do not have it to pay.
More than, when you say the people don't have it to pay, you also have to see what they are taxing. And I'm sure we haven't even seen that. You might structure tax in a way that, it applies to people at the upper crust.
Yes.
So you might apply tax to specific stuff, in which case you are not asking the poor people to pay anything. These are some of the things I tell you we need to first grasp, before we talk about these things. But that's why I even, switched to the story of VAT straight away. So the story of VAT now is that they wanted, the previous administration wanted to increase this. And we said, a lot of people, we cried out like this, and it wasn't even this bad. Yet, Naira was not, comatose. What's it again? Pump price was not crazy. The economy was not this stagnant. Now it is this bad, and now we are saying 10%. Okay. What's the story? Let's dust up the story, and let's see if court will say, okay, let it go to, because if it goes to the states, the states should then be able to determine, how they are going to go about their VAT, if it's coming to them.
All right. On the news, still in the newspaper this morning, we have this one coming from the NLC, saying that Tinubu's actions do not match his words, and also talking about minimum wage implementation. Let's go pay some bills. We'll be back.
88.7 FM.
I am pregnant. It is important for me to take care of myself and stay healthy.
To be strong and have a healthy pregnancy, take iron and folic acid tablets every day when you're pregnant. This prevents anemia and helps maintain a healthy pregnancy. Visit your healthcare provider for regular antenatal care. This message is from the Anring Project or your state's Ministry of Health.
I'm in love, Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Is it to open? Is it to squeeze? Is it to scoop? And is it to stop?
Sonia tomato mix in a new stand-up pouch.
Start your day and have a good time.
Kivo Crema.
Oh, where you need to have the break time.
Kivo Crema.
If not tea, Papa Garita.
Kivo Crema. Kivo Crema.
ìjàgùdù òsímọ́ kábánilórúkọ jẹ́ fẹ́ lọ lórí káràkátà gbogbo ẹ̀yin tẹ́ fẹ́ ra mọ́tò ayọ́kẹ́lẹ́ ìrọ̀rùn tó fini lọ́kàn balẹ̀ tó dángájíá àbẹ́yìn tẹ́ fẹ́ tà á iléeṣẹ́ rédíò àgídìgbò ti ṣàgbékalẹ̀ ètò ìrọ̀rùn fún gbogbo ẹ̀yin aráàlú tẹ́ ní mọ́tò tẹ́ fẹ́ tà àbẹ́ rí mọ́tò tẹ́ fẹ́ rà ṣùgbọ́n tẹ́ ń bẹ̀rù alágbèédá ó yá ẹ kàn ṣẹ́ka àgídìgbò atọ́kọ̀ṣe pẹ̀lú àwọn àlàálẹ̀ ètò tí fini lọ́kàn balẹ̀ níléeṣẹ́ rédíò àgídìgbò bẹ́ẹ̀ làǹfààní san díẹ̀díẹ̀ tún wà tẹ́ bá ti wá ṣe tán ẹ pè sórí àwọn nọ́mbà yìí 07034229105 tàbí 08028714663 àgídìgbò atọ́kọ̀ṣe ọkọ̀ gígùn dìrọ̀.
Legend ọmọ ìyá mi ṣó ti get.
Àgídìgbò 88.7 FM.
see in the news this morning is talking about the reckless spending and also the expensive lifestyle. That is what they call it of our politicians. While we, the masses, are struggling, daily struggles of our average Nigerian is almost not known to the politicians because of the way they're living. This is coming from the NLC. And then they're also promising to confront and check the corruption and fiscal indiscipline that has paved the way for this kind of lifestyle among political office holders. Also, they talked about the minimum wage implementation, which they said they're going to keep talks open on that one as well, because it's dragging. Maestro.
Now let's see how they do that. I don't believe in the NLC being able to check anything. They are too close to the sleaze at their hierarchy. They are too close to that system. I'm not just talking like this. I have been doing this for way too long not to know. And that's why I talk about NLC in the way I talk about NLC. And so many times that I discuss the NLC, I discuss the NLC. So many times. I don't discuss the persons there. And there's a reason for that, because it's not about the persons. It's about mostly, what the office offers. And just like the politicians, I hardly discuss persons too.
More about the system.
It's about what the office offers, and that's what they are going for. Whoever comes there, what that office offers in this kind of systemic dysfunction. So I also see that the NLC hasn't shown any kind of dedication or cerebral presence over the years. It's not happened because you need, to be projecting in a direction for me to believe what you're saying. You get? If you are not projecting in that direction,
if you're not walking your talk,
you can just pop up and tell me, the blah blah blah. You are talking like the politician who is campaigning because he needs my support, and I can recognize that. If NLC suddenly starts talking about the recklessness of the politician today, the profligacy of the politician in office, they are spendthrift, they are corrupt, and so on. You weren't saying all those things before now. Why are you suddenly saying it now? Because you need my approval. This is an appeal to people for support in whatever venture it's going now. And it's not even equipped for that venture. So what the NNPC should have represented to its membership and the rest of us should have been a system which could use its tremendous, resources, put that at our disposal in order to confront some of our problems. Today, NLC is so lean. Before, you had a tight collaboration. You will see the likes of Bekora Samkuti, you will see Ganifa Hemi, you will see Falano, you see everybody, using
together,
that as a rallying force, and then offering a lot of, meat to NLC's bones. But today, who is there? Because when you fight for that office, the office of the president of NLC, when you fight for it like the politician fights for any of the positions they want to acquire, what's the difference between the two of you? And when you finish that, you are hobnobbing until you begin to fight for minimum wage.
But is NLC in position?
And after you fight for minimum wage, you are done.
Until the next
you
minimum
are done
wage
till
fight.
the next minimum wage fight. That's what I'm supposed to believe. Now, that's why I tell you that if you do not understand, you are going to be today you will jump after what's his name, Alin Dume. When he's finished with you, you jump after Ajaero. When Ajaero is done with you, you jump to the next boat. Because people are always going to come with different things to entice you for your support. So, and this support you are freely given like a whore. It is, you see, it's you are that kind of infidel to yourself. So that infidelity is directed, is weaponized against yourself. Otherwise, what we should be telling the NLC at this point is leave all these little games. Leave asking for the person who is dipping his hand in the till and taking maximum wage for himself. That is the person you are asking to give you minimum wage. How does it make sense? Number one. Number two, what kind of fight do you want to fight?
Fight against corruption.
What kind? That is useless.
Against undiscipline.
Look, if you know the kind of people who have come and gone in this country, there's nobody who professed a war against corruption like Buhari. How much of corruption fighting was he able to do in 8 years? In the strongest position.
War against undiscipline.
What did it amount to? So is it just this flimsy NLC that will now be fighting corruption?
But is it in their position to do that?
They are just talking. What they could do is to pick one big fight that will appeal to a lot of people. And then if NLC says, yeah, we want to fight for restructuring tomorrow, I will enlist. And I know a lot of people that will enlist. The only thing is that we are going to look seriously into that leadership.
Are you sure?
That we will look at that leadership, that it is one that will actually drive us. Because you cannot, when we come in, you cannot drive people like us like you have been driving, people who are with you. That's unfortunate. So if you do not pick one fight, you will be falling to many ones. You have to pick a fight and say, this is the one that we are picking. This is the one that cuts across. Because if we secure this, we'll be able to do a lot of things. And then people will now come and tell you, that's not the mandate of the NLC. So that's not the mandate of the NLC, right? So since when did it become the mandate of the NLC to now fight corruption? But I believe that the NLC is part of this country. It's part of the people of this country. And it has resources. It is a rallying point. And if it is used properly, it will help the people of this country. Unfortunately, it is not going to be under this man because he has taken the executive of the NLC to the Labour Party. So it is partisan. It didn't only stand with Mr. Peter Obi to campaign for and against. He also went to Imo State to go and do the despicable there. And his people told him that look, Mr. President of NLC, get out of this place. This is our state. And NLC here is comfortable with this governor. Whether that is right or wrong is another matter entirely. But that was what happened, right? So I do not see this NLC as going so far. Now, what I believe, on the other hand, though, is that this administration should pay what it signed.
The minimum wage.
Yes, pay it. And then we will now be looking at this pump price. Now, if the NLC is kicking against this pump price, it's beautiful.
Okay.
So we are going to be friends there. We will be friends there. So you are intelligent about the battles. It's not all the battles they call you go and fight.
All right. The SERAP is also in the news, telling President Tinubu to reverse the petrol pump price. And also we have APC in the news doing the same. I know we'll talk more about the SERAP than APC doing that. So yes, we have SERAP
APC doing what?
APC chief also calling on Mr. President to reverse petrol pump price.
Okay, so maybe an APC chief that is probably seeking relevance in their party.
Sure, this was, I think, is Olatunbo Soyintiloye.
Well, you see, it is not wrong to, at this time, politicians have permutations, they have their outlooks, they have their calculations. So if that's what your people in your area are looking for, especially if you are not in anywhere, so you can say that so they can take
the right discussion for the right occasion.
But you see, the point here though is that even SERAP, I think SERAP, I can find a fault in SERAP's position today.
Wow.
Yes, well, not that syrup is bad, but what I'm seeing is reverse. Reverse is wrong.
Then what?
Because if you're asking them to reverse, you're playing into their hands already.
Let's go back to that 600 and something.
So is it what we want? We're looking for 400 and something. You say they should reverse. So the moment they now say, okay, well, let's just do 700 and leave this thing, you will be happy.
At least you got something.
No, now.
That's not what we want.
We're looking at 400, 450. Because that is what is going to make we will have a profound effect on the lives of people.
Make a difference.
Yes, and it's going to help the economy.
All right. Let's allow people joining the conversation this morning. 0704 1001 887 or +234 704 7008 873. I'll call that again, of course, but let's listen to this.
Thank you for your attention. It's been lovely to have you keeping it locked on Agidigbo 88.7 FM. Now is the time to join in the conversation, to have the word, hear your voice, because we are the people's voice. Meanwhile, while you contribute to this program, kindly note that in accordance with broadcasting ethics, you are requested to keep your contributions modest, truthful, concise, and not offensive, inflammatory, or with tendencies to cause discomfort to anyone. Thank you. Now, let the conversation begin.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Madam. Fine, sir. Abbas speaking from Manhattan.
All right, sir, your contribution.
Thank you. Yes, I want to view it from this way. It seems everybody in the House of Assembly, all of them, they have no official certificate. If not so, somebody will you go and borrow money from that long-nosed man, bring it to your father's house, and you still take it back there for them to see for you. You put Nigeria into debt. Maybe. Why? Why not you? If supposing you know how to make 2 naira to become 3 naira, that money you stole is supposed to be invested here in your father's land.
Your point,
borrow it here and take it there. I mean, they are not the education sector is very, very low. That is why they don't know. They don't reach to that street. They are not educated to that. They are not. They are not.
Sir, who are those you're talking about? Oh, because I was already getting lost. 0704 1001 887. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. You're there. All right, do well to call back if you can. 0704 1001 887 or +234 704 7008 873. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning, Maestro.
Good morning.
Yeah, I'm Alawode. I'm calling from Ibadan.
All right, sir. Your contribution.
God save us in this country this time around, though. Things are very hard. And I want to believe that we are going through a very horrible political policy and terrible economic situation. Like I wanted to say last week, it doesn't cost the president to reverse, not to reverse or to reduce the petrol. This is our heritage now. This is our commonwealth. The president should do something. Everybody is calling for the head of Kyari, the soul and head. How can we do that if supposing Kyari is working for the presidency, for the National Assembly, and for the judiciary? He will not leave because he's doing their bidding. I want to believe that Nigeria can be turned around within 24 hours. There's no problem. There's no problem in this country that cannot be solved within some hours.
All right.
That is my take.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your contributions. Idris Adisa says there is nothing I think can give us a leadway except total restructuring. The narrative Mr. President was talking about in his China comment can be achieved without restructuring. And now people should understand Maestro about his explanations that There is a very wide difference between president and presidency, and that is the system that we should advocate to restructure. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Mr.
say your
Good
name
morning,
and where you're calling from.
Yes, ma'am. Michael Fatisi from Alakia alias Onibrekete. I mean, from Alakia.
Your contribution, sir.
I think, okay, I said the media problem are failing Nigeria. I'm emanating from our excessive and self-centered posture because our love for material wealth. We are inadvertently dancing to the tune of Satan. So the Lord left us for our own decay.
Thank you so much for your contribution, sir. This is not a religious program. Olafemi says he's talking about the freebie, saying, so what freebie have we been enjoying from the government? That is concerning Mr. President's speech in China. All right, more comment this morning. Adebayo Patrick says, presently we have resulted in hunger. Yes, we have all contributed to this. The question remains, what is the way out? To protest, we said no. To reconsider a new way, which is the constitution, we said no. Now we continue shouting restructuring. How can we achieve restructuring without a new constitution? How can we achieve...
the person does not even understand what restructuring is. So it's confusing. How could you have restructuring without a new constitution? You don't understand. And I encourage people, to learn about what you want to talk about. Because you will talk more intelligently about it if you learn more about it. Restructuring itself is angling for new constitution.
Inside restructuring.
That is what it is. So you cannot have one before the other. It doesn't. That's not what we are saying. In any case, you say you're asking for protest. They said no. Who said no? You see, when you want to tell lies, this is what you do. You lay premises for your lies. We never said on this program that people should not protest. We said it is constitutional, actually, for people to protest. That was what we said on this program.
Exactly.
So, but you cannot force me to come and join you. And you cannot force my views to favor your protest.
Exactly.
If I believe it's a useless kind of protest, I will say so.
Raja Fiza says, on the issue of fuel increase, honestly, NNPC is not sincere with Nigerians. They are turning us like radio station. If they want to stay in Agidigbo FM, they should stay. Why moving from one station to another? And Mr. President is not helping matters at all. The president should say something. I bet you he's saying something.
They are staying at Agidigbo quite all right.
All right. Olorun just says, a serious government of the people should fix FX for 350 naira per dollar, then encourage our country to be
like
productive.
An economic illiterate. Well spoken like an economic illiterate. You cannot fix it. You can't fix it like that.
It can't be fixed.
Yes, because what's controlling it is, more outside of your country than inside. And if you are going to do something like that, it means you are going to shut yourself down to the world. And how long could we eventually survive that? People, we have the foreign taste. We have taste for all the foreign things of this life. We are not productive. So that's not the way to go.
All right. Maestro, do you think we are enjoying the benefits of a more allocation to states?
We are not, of course we are not. But I think it's relative, sincerely. This is what I say that, activism is too centralized. And people should look at their states more. Why would people from Ekiti State not be interested in how Ekiti money is being spent? Why, how that state is being run and so on. But they will be in the forefront in Abuja of asking, questions in Abuja. Why would people from Osun State, why would people indeed from Ondo State? Like someone said, she was from Ondo State. His activism has never affected Ondo State once. So while it is not wrong, to be very active at the center, I don't believe that we should be 100%, towards the center. Because what it tells me another kind of story. It tells me that you use it for a different kind of purpose. Sincerely, that's what I see. If you are so dedicated, to the center, to the detriment of, serious activism in your own state, in Imo, in Anambra, in Enugu, everywhere else, in up north, Middle Belt. But everybody is always talking about, and we who are even not acting at the center, we're also inflicted by the same, we're behaving the same way. How? Even on your social media, go and check. Someone has never spoken about any other thing since he or she came on that social media, unless the center.
What about the governors, the states?
They never turn their attention to those places because it's not attractive enough. And you won't sound
intelligent.
Fighting and intelligent enough if you go and talk about your states. And that is why we are not saying, okay, raising questions. Before you were getting 2 billion monthly. Now you are getting 6 billion monthly. So what's been happening?
What's the difference?
Okay, this is what's been happening. Then we're done. And if you are satisfied, if you are not satisfied, well, Your Excellency, shouldn't we be putting this one here, this one? That's different. But if you can't see the trace of where it even went, then you know you have full-blown activism on your hands. But nobody does that anymore now.
You mentioned Chibuere, and that would lead me to the news about the new DSS boss promising to arrest Chibuere on arrival. What's his offense?
If you understand how these state agents work, you will expect that. Whether they announce it or not is another matter entirely. If you are having global meetings, very visible, saying you're coming in to do a protest and you're asking people to give you funds, the state agent will be interested in you. But I have never seen anything that says arrest, don't arrest. It doesn't make any sense to me. So long as you are going to go by the law. So when you now arrest him, what are you going to say he's done to you? Because you have to say that. You have to now go and present him in court to say,
this is offense.
This is his offense. Now, if you are now saying, because he conducted programs and solicited funds to go specifically to go and protest in so time, if the court now says you have done well, that's another matter entirely. But I expect this to happen. How far it's going to go is another matter, because you see, we don't know what they know.
Okay.
And sometimes the people who are committing these things don't also know what they know. Sometimes it is further afield than we think. We simply assume a lot of things. So the politician, in his bid to hit his goal, he does a lot of things. He does many things. Many people were surprised when you had these things flying from Sahara reporters that time. I've mentioned it on this program that, Jonathan got drunk in the United States. That's why he was not able to attend the meeting he went for. At the end of the day, we found out that Jonathan doesn't even drink. So because when you see his eyes, you might think, you connect the eyes from where he comes from, he's an Ijaw person, then you can conclude, there's no way in this life that he will not be doing kind. But the man does not even drink
at all,
according to people who are very close to him. So where did they get that from? And he never came out to say, well, I'm sorry about that report, because it's not true. So we heard that the man was having some kind of diarrhea at that point. Anyway, I'm just saying sometimes the scheme goes way beyond, what we are picking. And so we would love to know, because the Constitution protects people who want to protest. So does the Constitution now work against soliciting funds? Though I am curious why you are begging people to give you money
for protest
in dollars. So I'm curious about that, and setting up an appointment and so on. So the game I see is to ensure that this administration does not have stability. That's what the system that this president headed in order to kick Jonathan out of office. That's the same thing.
That's what they do.
So if you are not doing it back to him, I don't see anything wrong about that, because he is also crafty enough to understand what you're doing, and then you will be facing that. This is where it is important for us to be able to pick what our own fights are. So if politicians are doing certain things to one another, so long as they are not infringing on anybody's rights, I don't care.
Right then.
The one that concerns me right now as I sit down here is this pump price. And that's the one I'm going to be fighting for. That's the one I'm going to be involved with. And I'm prepared to lose old friends, in the course of what matters and interests me. I don't care. When we finish this one, and this price is where I want it to be, we will continue with other factors. That is how to apply wisdom to this life.
All right then. Let's go out for our final break before we continue the conversation and eventually wrap up for today. We'll be back.
88.7 FM.
I'm in love, Sonia tomato mix, stand up. Easy to open, easy to squeeze, easy to scoop, and easy to stir.
Sonia tomato mix in a new standard pouch.
Hero Hunter bike is here again, Better motorcycle, we go serve you well. 18 months, warranty. Get 18 months, warranty. Hero Hunter bike, 18 months, warranty. Hero Hunter bike, better buy to serve you well. Oh. Hero Hunter bike, save money and save your fuel. Oh. Hero Hunter bike, get 18 months warranty.
Babies are God's gifts to parents, and breast milk is God's gift to babies. It contains all the important nutrients and minerals your baby needs, including water, for the first 6 months. Give your baby breast milk only. Remember, breast milk only for the first 6 months. This message is from the Anrin Project or your State Ministry of Health.
Start your day and have a good time.
Kivo Crema.
Oh, where you need to have the break time.
Kivo Crema.
If not tea, or garita.
Kivo Crema. Kivo Crema.
Akidibo 88.7 FM.
All right. 0704 1001 887. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from? Yes, sir. Sorry. This is not the number. 0704 1001 887. Or plus 234 704 700 873. Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Good morning, ma. Your name and where you're calling from? Oh, Taiwo Kwayenka says a foundational problem to put us in this situation we are in today. Raja Afiz Abedeven says, I want to ask you a question, sir. Where is the National Association of Nigerian Students? We're not hearing their voice at all about what is happening.
Well, I don't bother myself to ask for which voices I hear, which ones I don't. We all have our voices. If they don't believe that they should be applying their voices to the situation, we shouldn't be forcing them. The point here is that they have their own battles, and some of them are fighting those battles. But the truth, however, is that at the hierarchy of the students' body that you are talking about, it's not like it used to be. They are more of politicians themselves today than any other thing. They are so close, so tightly knit, with the politicians that they drive similar vehicles, even on campus, to that of the politicians. So some of them drive better vehicles than that of their lecturers, and they are not Yahoo. The Yahoo are on another level.
Aluta money.
So it's not far-fetched why they might be keeping quiet.
All right. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
Oluwasan is my name.
Calling from where?
Ileife.
All right, sir. Your contribution.
Good morning, Maestro.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. What do they call it? Serap. We thought Serap was one of the dissenting voices when you are talking about defending the cause of the masses. But Maestro, I want to ask Baba Masud Erubami, where is his stand today in Serap? Because we always hear about Kolawole Oluwadare, but we don't hear about Masud Erubami again. Thank you.
Well, you see, the Masud Erubami you mentioned is like my Egbon, and I know, I saw that he fought, very valiantly when the battle was hot, up to the point that he was almost killed, and I saw all that, all the June 12 crisis and everything. But what did he get? Every time he came up, for election, he got nothing on his hands at the end of the day. And right now, he probably needs us, more than ever. But how many of us are there for him today? So he's a hero that we've forgotten. So let's just not even raise that. But I don't have anything against Serap. I'm just saying that on this one occasion, they shouldn't have been talking about reducing at all. This is not about reduction. Reversal. We should be talking about drastic reduction in the whole thing that they are planning.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from, sir?
My name is Engineer Shaikir from Abuja.
All right, sir, your contribution.
Yeah, I think I greet Mr. Maestro. He's been doing a very, very good job. He's very intelligent and objective and analyst. So I think the issue here is, I'm really concerned. Is the president truly aware of what Nigerians are facing at this time? Because, just like Maestro said, life before development. I think we need to be clear about this. The president needs to go to the streets of Nigeria to really see things for himself. Thank you.
Thank you for your contribution, sir. Idris Adisa says, a state government is another issue we always focus our energy wrongly. Sometimes, and it boils down to restructuring. Agriculture is to be done by state, but we always attack a federal government.
It shows the cowardice of, these pseudo-activists all over the place. Because when you want to actually do your activism in this state, you are facing the governor directly. You understand? You're standing in front of the governor directly and facing him. It's not like the one you are doing the president from a very long distance from your village. This one is, so this is the force that you are facing directly. But many of them don't want to do that. And it's not because they are going to throw them in any detention or beat them up. It is because, the governors are the largest dispensing points, in those spaces. And how many people could actually be on the wrong side of the governor? Very few, especially if you are not in the opposition party, which is okay. But as individual activists, do they want to do that?
Wow.
When the governor has the carrot.
Hello, good morning. Hello. All right, 0704 1001 887. Let's take one more call before we leave this morning. Olaide Bana said, thank you, sir, for the comment on the questions to the state governors. How have they been sending the state and local governments a monthly FASA 48% since they have rendered the local government almost useless? Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Your name and where you're calling from, sir?
This is Pastor Wuraola from Kolibolo in Badon.
All right, sir.
In fact, I would like Mr. Maestro to let us know the autobiography because it's so dangerous. Exactly. Whatever he says this morning is very, very well intelligent. Please keep it up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Maestro, your part and shot.
Well, we have to keep grappling, you and I. We have to keep grappling, because we are not doing this for ourselves. We're doing this for the next generation. Because if we do not, put the next generation in a good stead, of course, we're destroying our future totally. And so we have to do that. This is not a fight, it's a fight for the common people of this country. Let's have something, for once.
All right. Yeah. Tomorrow we'll be back to talk about our great nation, Nigeria, whatever it is that is popping up, or what is going on and how is it affecting us as citizens of Nigeria. My name is Wuraola Yusuff. Have a great week.